It's absolutely road scale, such as cars and toys, or even trains as small models as well. Welcome to Milwaukee Road. As we're gonna be entering inside, I got my DCC consist adapter for this a little bit once as adapter, or some kind of that I just using for my controller inside. Looks like we have in our case that we went inside of this one contains loud noises inside of this one, and we have some echo noises around here. And exactly we didn't absolutely gonna be coming inside of this way. This map is full of kinds of trains and consist. As we look on inside of these trains of all of ourselves as this one. As we came by inside of the railroad of the model scales. As we absolutely find there out, this is where the turnaround loop is absolutely where we all started against one train that leads to in some other dimensions and a lot of things and so there must be river and other sides of rail. There must be yards and everything is absolutely gonna be EMDF7s as SD40s, GP7s, SD40s, SD7s. There must be the F7 too. And some Milwaukee Road coaches is possible. As we absolutely find out for our next room, there must be every freight and there must be an auto tracks. It's even possible that we might think of it for a little bit for just a wait. There must be other EMDF 7s, there must be Burlington Norton coaches, even possible as that. And it looks like we have some other kinds of freight yards and some of the diesel locomotives as we found. As we move on to the last place, this is currently under development. It's almost like the biggest subdivision on showroom that you never seen before, as we're gonna be doing a little bit for this one. And absolutely some trains are just extremely highly loud. We're about to use some kind of a Burlington Northerns. At least this is some kind of a premium, very premium as well. As we're gonna get in back inside of the main line, this is where the main line goes to. And there were the medium for this and south inside of this, and these are for some kind of fulfilled in Milwaukee Road coaches. And inexactly, it's not the BNRs, as even not possible as well. Some kinds of trains will be pulling ourselves, and this is our perfect start without for ourselves for our Burlington Nortons, herding some diesel locomotives for this far, as we're gonna be picking a little bit first. At least there must be the one caboose, or morbidly we have some other Burlington Northern as well. As we're gonna be using for this first, I'm gonna be using for the DCC controller that we should find the address and made it for our first start. As long we're gonna be accelerating and we have been cruising for just a little bit of things. As we're not gonna be finding a way from accelerating until this moment, the acceleration is probably realistic as well. As we choosing for our next locomotive will be resulting for other kinds of too. And most recently that we absolutely gonna be doing for a consist belt that we absolutely should might able to stop here against the one that we absolutely have for today. As we look onto literally forward until it might going after reverse towards. Now we just might able to do whatever it is that we think that we're gonna be using for the DCC consist adapter. We all might able to do something a little bit fast. As even possible, we have a coupling sound for this one. The train number 587 moves into the front. Let's say 587. Looks like we have something one here and one thing on reverse. Now let's pull on to this one and let's get moved forward into one opportunity that we're going to get things out, unless that should not able to drive on the left side of the rails as we speaking for a few minutes later. Once the train has finally arrived, let's couple this up and let's see, we have a few more couple of couples as well. Looks like we're gonna be doing for 1%. Looks like this is gonna be really loud ever since. Looks like every cars and couples it for a very loud time as well. As we come into this situation, or just kind of one strategy as well, until it lasts for the end of this way. As we couple all of these ones, we shall move forward. And instead, we're gonna be absolutely cruising for our 50% as always. As we're gonna be moving on to the right side of the rails instead of the left side of the rails that we never have for this far. But looks like we have took for here for many times as well. But not possible we have for some kind of EMD series. But looks like we come into some kind of a one opportunity that we never think. And some freight cars are just gonna be moving a little bit necessary. When you think the train is coming for a very little bit notorious, as it comes in towards into outside of these rails. As we never seen about this before, let's try ourselves for just like this before. Let's try the camera mode. As the train arrives, and I hope this is absolutely pretty loud as the train horn does. As we taking a very loudest times, that sounds like a toys from a little bit for Lionel. And that was absolutely going to be a little bit loud and not kind of crazy as well. As we're going to be continuing this moment, I make sure the train cruising is going to be a little bit exactly what is out. So let me hear the train horn, which is kind of pretty far. As you can see, we have zoomed in and see the train horns with exactly ourselves that we're pulling on into many more other cars as well. And that was even more reliably loud as well. As we turn on the headlights on, the train will lead. That was exactly how it is. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. When about is 2 more to go, which is not really gone too far as well. As the train moves on, at least we have more cars to go as we need for our backup trains as the Bellington Northern. As we need some more of these things as we need to get a little bit possible as well as the train will be cruising and pulling so many cars as possible. And before we continue up this video, we make sure that we're gonna be like on this game. But looks like we absolutely made things a little bit big, but it's gonna be unable to handle like this one. As we pull on to our next locomotive, but more diesels has we come, as we'll come to a complete halt before our next locomotive comes. But looks like we will add into another locomotive into this situation. As we're gonna be speaking about this situation, as we're planning to do, we're gonna be stopping around for this engine. And looks like we're taking for a long distance with absolutely ourselves. We have to choose the Bellington Norton 6378. We made things a little bit more forward. Not even possible. Pretend this is not absolutely a caboose, but morbidly, it should be gonna be finding address and more reliable things as well. Not even possible that we're moving things a little bit faster. That sadly, that was absolutely going to be doing for a little bit for one time, but more reliable things we have came for reverse. As more reliable thing for a train, and exactly the Bellington Norton was absolutely using for some kind of green, but green is, that should use for Pakistan ways as well. As we're not doing about this situation for this strategy, this is exactly for the Pakistan train for just a little bit. It's absolutely, we never absolutely think what is going on. Let's use 1% for this one. As exactly we're going to be coupling things on. And some kind of other trains. In other words, looks like we need to reverse this out until we have some kind of just a little bit once as well. So the train has coupled for some kind of freight cars ever since we have all the way we have for today. As exactly we need to came for this a little bit and a little bit close until we couple this out. As before, we're gonna be end of this video. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. And looks like we're on our way into our furthest destination. And this is some kind of a little bit for just some kind of a little bit time. I'm probably not sure that the train is gonna be a little bit taking for very slow steps, and it's fully coupled everything. We came around the next room as the train approaches, as we never speak to like this before as the train will become. And absolutely we have so many cars, but absolutely we have for a lot of freight cars as well. We got so many things to do. Whatever it is, that the train is gonna be moving on to our destination for our closing for this out. And another cars of some other kind of species. And the Bellington Norton locomotive inside of that rear. As we came by into some kind of a little bit close, but looks like we're at the end of this video, but looks like we're keeping on rolling out. So anyways, we absolutely found out what is meant to be that we're gonna be heading through this one. As we came by that we should be able to get close without touching for some other kinds of themselves for track switching. Looks like inside of the railroad crossing, we have found it for today, and here comes that train. As the train moves on, and that's some kind of a louder train horn for something like else. Looks like we have absolutely for a greater days for a long time, but not itself for it's taking for a few productions left, but hearing for some kind of a little bit for some kind of toys of rolling around for here, and there must be some kind of, there must be the rear on the front as well. As we came on into for other kinds, in other words, looks like the train is coming towards into another one. As we speak this out, we came for a few long terms, and there must be a huge freight yard ever since. But the train moves on, but exactly even though for some kind of a BH locomotives as well. Not even sideways, that's the tail lights or headlights as well. I mean this is some kind of 1BH Milwaukee train. What on earth is that kind of BH? That must be most recent of the MDF7s. So we got something whatever we never absolutely wanted to say. We have glad that everything, there was one steam locomotive, must be the 462 locomotive as our big steam locomotive as well. And we absolutely moving towards into the end. So anyways, if you enjoy for this about for the Milwaukee road situation as we speaking onto this another one situation, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and click that bell. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna be signing off, and I'll talk to you guys all later as we have possibly that we're gonna be doing for Railfan as well.